Today I'm going to be working on this little blueberry. It's maybe not so commonly seen in bonsai blueberries, but they do make some decent material. They can make some big thick trunks down at the base here. This one doesn't have a super thick trunk right now, but I do enjoy this kind of wispy look that it has to it. The thing that I've never really liked about it quite so much is this super flat top. So I want to give it maybe a little bit more layering on it and make a good scaffolding for its berries that it's going to be having. Berries and flowers. These are actually new buds for the year already. These are definitely flower buds here, and these I believe are going to be flower buds. So it's going to have some flowers on it, and I like to give them a little bit more space and a little bit lighter look. Maybe a little bit less of a flat top, slightly more rounded, just a little bit. I haven't really been able to find really great wild blueberry images. They're basically just a bush is what they look like. So I'll be just kind of fiddling around with this, having a little bit of fun, because it's basically a plant that grows into a bush form. It's just a fruiting bush. So I'll give this one a go, see what I can come up with, and I'll add some wire, probably not do much trimming. This will be a pretty quick one. You can see just a little bit of what you could do with the blueberry. So first off, this blueberry actually, this one came from the ground, and it was at actually a family member's house, my parents' house in fact, and this one didn't really have really great blueberry flavor on the berries when it was producing. It's a dwarf version of a blueberry, so it grows really slowly. And that combined with having not really tasty berries just didn't make it a great fruit bush for my parents. So my mom said, "Hey, I'm getting rid of this. You want it?" Of course I'm going to take that. You've maybe seen me take some other things for free from people, and this happened to be one of them. This one I believe I've had in the pot for 2 to 3 years now. I've let it flower a couple of times, but I've never allowed it to have berries on it. It does have a really beautiful orange-red fall color, and in the summertime it has some nice small leaves for a blueberry, and just kind of an interesting, different look. So it's a fun one for sure. I'll use a couple of tools. I got wire tools like clippers and pliers, and then I have concave cutters just in case, but I seriously doubt I'll need those. Regular shears. And then if I need to, some tweezers. Let's see, I'm pretty sure I could do whatever movement I need just by wrapping. Yep, I can wrap some wire around some of these branches and trunks and get them into place. I do have this crazy chunky little trunk here, and at the end of that are these little stems. So it's an interesting little beastie. Let's see if I can make that make a little bit more sense with a little bit of movement into the trunks here. I guess it could be carved a little bit later down the line too. I have several spots here where there were super thick, straight trunks that I didn't really care for. So, all right, I'm going to start wiring this little one. First one I'm going to wire, I guess, is... I'm not going to do anything major on this biggest one here, but I am going to move this one a little bit, and I think I'm going to move this one a little bit. So I'm going to start by wiring these two together with a single wire. This is just aluminum wire I'm going to use, and this is a semi-thick wire. It's maybe a third of the diameter of the thicker of the branches here, and I'm just going to see if that's enough to move this into place where I want it. I'm pretty certain it's enough to move this. Pretty sure it's enough to move this smaller one here. So we'll see if I need to add any more. So I've chosen not to go higher up on this particular branch with the super thick wire because it steps down quite significantly to this little branch, and knowing how brittle this particular type of plant is, I'm almost certain that I wouldn't have enough control to wire that with this type of wire. So this one in the back, it was perfectly fine. It doesn't step down quite as much, and so I'm going to add a different diameter of wire for this one. I think on this one, probably going to have to start down here a little bit further and wire it up to there, just for the support anchor points as I go up to that. And I'm going with a wire that's almost the same diameter as that trunk up there, that branch up there. This is where it gets a little delicate, because this other little branch here, this tiny little branch, I really want to keep this and develop this, and it's very close right now to this other one, so I'm trying not to snap that one off. I don't wire deciduous trees all that much because I don't like the look of wire scarring on them. But this one, I've been kind of just jonesing to do something a little different with it for quite a while. It's pretty tricky because this is kind of tight little spaces. I am working with gloves, and some of it is because it's cold, and others because I just always wear gloves when I'm working on my trees. It gives me pretty good grip on the wire. I don't have to worry about getting my hands all cut up and scratched up, and I've just come to get used to it. So these are they have pretty good dexterity, these gloves. They're also waterproof. I don't have to worry about messing with getting my hands wet and colder than they already are. Okay, so I've got that one with some wire on it. I'm also going to add a little wire to that and this. And I'm going pretty thick wires on these because the thinner wire that I have, it's just too thin. It makes it cut in really quick to all this stuff. So again, this is very delicate because I'm trying to save as much of the branches as I can without breaking them. Alright, so it's wired, it's ready to shape. Let me see if I can get this to have a little bit more layers, a little bit more movement, and not so much of a flat top. So, let's have at it. Okay, I just gained quite a bit of height by doing that procedure. Now I have this tall branch up here, and I'm going to lower the tops down just a little bit, make some layers out of that. There. This lower branch here I'm going to straighten out a little bit, get that a little bit down lower. Alright, it is a little bit straight. Okay, so that's got a little bit of movement to it. It's got a little interest. This one in the back here, I'm going to move that into a position that I like to. This one's actually going a little bit lower. So what I'm trying to do is get these to be in a low position and a useful low position. At least this branch right here I am. Without actually snapping these branches. They're not super flexible. Okay, what I've done with that one is just done a little bit of a thing off to the side there, and that's okay. It's not quite in keeping just yet, but it will be in the future. All right, let's get this kind of in position so that it meshes with the rest of everything. Okay, looking from the top, I like that. From the side, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to get this top in a position that I like. And I think it's going to go really kind of rounded out from here. I'm going to bring this branch down and out into that position. Right, so that's pretty good. I am probably going to come back in here with the shears and clean up some of this funky growth here. Alright, now for this toppermost one. Yep, okay. Okay, so this little one here, it's hard to see the twists and turns around on that, but it's kind of a funky little lower branch there. Yeah, I'm just going pretty funky on this one. So this one back here is the last one I'm going to do. Yeah, and this branch is, this piece is pretty thick. Not really getting much movement out of that, but that's all right. All right, so that little branch I wanted to keep on this side, wasn't able to keep it. That one just kind of broke off. It happens. All right, see what we can do with the rest of it though. Alright, so here's the thing. From certain sides of this, I really like it. From other sides, I'm not quite so sure about it just yet. It's a funky tree. I think the pot needs to be a little bit more funky than just this blue pot here. So this is probably going to get changed out when it's ready. For right now, I'm going to go through and make some more touches as I turn it around. And maybe you'll get to see kind of difference between what it is right now and with some other touches and a little bit of trimming going on it. So here we go with that. Okay, that's pretty weird, pretty funky. I think I'm good with that. So this is how I style. I typically turn the tree around and around, see if I like multiple sides, and in this one I do like multiple sides of it. The pod is not quite gnarly enough for my taste with this little funky blueberry thing. So that's definitely getting changed out. I just don't know quite to what yet. I do have a couple of pots that I think could potentially work for this. Alright, so this is a blueberry. It's got a blue colored pot. I also have this blue colored pot. I could change the look of it quite a bit. You can almost see that this is a little bit taller than the other pots, so I would want to raise this up a little bit more, and that could be pretty cool to expose some of the roots. It's an interesting pot. It's by Sam Miller, so that one could be an interesting one for it. It's a little bit different size, kind of smaller. That's all right. An entirely different look could be this pot by Yana. This is from IG Ceramics. So I did that other video on that one. So this one's interesting. I'm not sure it fits this tree quite as it is. I had some different ideas for what to do with this, but you know, looking at it with this kind of gnarly looking tree, when it has a red and orange fall color, I think that would be pretty cool with this little pot. It's actually not so different in size from it. It's got a cool little skull here in the front. That one is actually an option. I'd be interested to see what that looks like with it. This one is from Broken Branch Pottery, and this one's just a kind of a nice unglazed look to it. It's got an interesting shape, a little bit different than this one. Not quite so glossy, which I do like. Just not really sure if that's the shape for it, just right offhand. I think what I'll have to do is, when it's time to repot this, I think I'll have several of these pots ready and then actually place them inside the pot and see if it looks good with it. Another one from Broken Branch Pottery, which is really, really similar to this one, but it's dark and it's unglazed. So two of my top choices right at this second are this one from Yana and this one from Sam. Very different looks, aren't they? So this one has kind of a refined look for the pot. It's got a really nice, beautiful blue glaze, which would go good with a blueberry plant. It'll definitely go good with the fall color that this plant has. And it's got a little bit of a tan on the rim here. So it's got some different colors going on it. And that'll provide year-round interest with the pot. I mean, I really do like that. It'll be up taller in the pot. It'll accentuate the height that's coming out off of this plant here. And it just will really elongate the image and really explode it out of that pot. So I'm liking that one quite a bit. This one from IG Ceramics is just really different. I mean, this one is more of a stable base. It's a little bit lower. It's I don't think it gives it quite an upper feeling. It's not quite so it doesn't move quite so much. It really anchors it to the ground. So I'm thinking that this one and the other one I'm going to be putting this tree into and just kind of testing and seeing what that looks like. So that's what I'm going to do. Figure out which one of those two pots are going to go with this blueberry. Should be fun. Stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.